MacDonald held several discussions with the leading Malayan political leader Dato Onn Jaafar, the United Malays National Organization, UMNO, chief and member of the Federal Legislative Council, on the idea of a closer association between Malaya and Singapore on the one hand and the Borneo territories on the other. The primary records indicate that MacDonald discussed this idea of a closer association with Dato Onn Jaafar on October 29, 1951, and then wrote to the Colonial Office of the positive response he received and the need to pursue the issue. He noted that Dato Onn Jaafar showed a readiness to consider ways and means of gradually bringing the Federation and Singapore closer together. It was agreed that a small group of officials from the Federation and Singapore would have a preliminary meeting on the proposal at Bukit Serene, MacDonald's residence in Johor Bahru, and then hold another meeting under the auspices of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association to further discuss the idea. The Colonial Office, however, felt there was no public demand for closer political association in the Federation or Singapore. MacDonald and the Singapore Governor F. Gimson discussed the matter with some unofficial members of the Singapore legislature on December 18, 1951. A little later, MacDonald realized that Dato Onn Jaafar's influence in Malayan politics began to wane after he formed the Independence of Malaya Party and informed the Colonial Office that there was a need to include important shades of Malay opinion which Dato Onn Jaafar and his Independence of Malaya Party colleagues no longer fully represent. This was a reference to the UMNO under the leadership of Tunku Abdul Rahman, who succeeded Dato Onn Jaafar. MacDonald also noted that the Borneo territories favored a closer association if it also involved closer association with Singapore. The Colonial Office, however, had reservations about MacDonald's idea of closer political association and felt it was a bit premature. Gimson discussed this matter with the Federation's High Commissioner, Sir Gerald Templer, in February 1952, and noted that closer association should be achieved at the earliest possible date. A further meeting on the idea was held on May 18, 1953, and the consensus reached was that local opinion was less in favor of the idea. Templer observed that while a year earlier he had felt it was possible to make some progress towards the goal of a closer association, during the last year feeling in both territories had become more opposed to the idea. Singapore Governor Sir J. Nicholl agreed with Templer's views, noting that constitutional advance would make it even more difficult. The meeting nevertheless concluded that their continued objective should still be the closest political association between Singapore and the Federation that we can get local opinion to accept. It was felt that the setting up of a joint Federation and Singapore Coordination Committee under the chairmanship of MacDonald would assist in reaching this objective. In a briefing to the Cabinet in April 1954, the Secretary of State noted that constitutional changes in Singapore need not prove an obstacle to the objective of closer association between the Federation and Singapore.